What's up, everybody? It is your brother, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, your mama, your daddy, your grandma, and your granddaddy, and your favorite cousin on your daddy's side, Jay Pleasant, and welcome back to the Jay Pleasant Show. Ladies and gentlemen, today I have the absolute pleasure of sitting down with someone who has done numbers in my household. I found out about this man and his band almost a year ago. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, you're missing out on so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for James Berkeley. Did I say it right?
It's Berkeley, bro. Go with Berkeley. Everybody says it to the point where I don't even question it anymore. It
I'm
just
going
sounds
to get it
right in my
right. I
brain.
have to get it right. I promise you by the end of this interview, I'm going to get it right. I promise you. But no, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for him. Yeah, 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 yeah. Also known as Yakul. His band is Yakul. I'm excited. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
No
Yeah,
problem.
looking forward to
No
it.
problem. It's a pleasure. It's an honor, honestly, truly. So listen, you recently got all of your albums printed out on vinyls. Tell me about how does that feel? And tell me about that process and the feeling that comes with the process as well.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's a weird one. I literally only had this realization today. I was like, oh
Hmm.
man, there's literally four of these. Um, and yeah, it kind of crept up on me, because I always have this thought that like, you've got these goals that you have in front of you, but then as you make progress, they kind of move forward away
Yeah.
from you. So you never really feel like you reach them. And yeah, something like having my music pressed on vinyl is, yeah, that's like a big thing that like a certain point in my
Yeah.
life would have like, I'd have been like super excited to have thought that was something that I'd have. And yeah, man, I kind of just was like, oh yeah, there's like four of these now. It's actually wild. So I'm trying to feel like, yeah, celebrate that a bit and like feel grateful to be at that point, feel like you have to self-impose like celebrations like
Hmm.
throughout your life and like your pursuits and stuff. So yeah, it
Hmm.
feels good, man. It's basically like one for the lot like every year for the last few years. It's kind of been like COVID. Vinyl production was a bit of a nightmare, so that was the reason there was like a bit of a gap there. But yeah, man, it feels good. It feels good.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I do plan on purchasing all four of them. I just want you to know that.
Awesome.
And I'm excited for you. I'm happy for you, honestly, because that is a very big accomplishment. So yeah, honestly, truly keep up the good work. All right, so boom, let's go ahead and get into this game. I have a game for you. It's called Pass the Ox. For the people at home that do not know about Pass the Ox, listen, it's a game. It's a lovely game. I'm going to give James 10 seconds to sing the first song that first comes to his head after I give him a certain scenario, okay? It's really simple, it's real easy. Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'll be, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna start out light for you, okay? So the ox has been given to you, but you are with some people whose music taste you are unsure of. What song are you playing first to test the water?
I gotta sing this song.
Yes.
uh I can say the loving you is easy. My cats.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna take it. 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 Now I'm gonna need more of the song now, James. You have a lovely voice. You can't just come to the Jay Pleasant show and not sing the song now, man. But okay, I like it. I'll take it. I'll take it. So you're having a park car conversation with your new boo for the first time, and things are starting to get a little bit spicy. What song are you playing to let them know it can get lit if you want it to?
um hmm. Love, so many things I gotta tell you, but I'm afraid I don't know how. Because there's a possibility you'll look at me differently, love. This is such a
Yeah, James, man, listen. Tell me about how you first found music, how that came and how that captivated you and what made you want to pursue music.
hmm. It's kind of been a thing that it's always been there really. Um, so yeah, when I was like super young, even kind of like like five, kind of, I would
Hmm.
like just gravitate towards the piano with just like a shitty kind of Casio keyboard.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so it's always kind of been there for me, and gone through a lot of different stages, obviously, over the course of my life. But from an age of like, yeah, literally kind of like 5, 6, it's been the thing that I've always wanted to pursue.
Hmm.
But as I've got older and I've kind of experimented with stuff more, it's the path becomes a bit clearer. And it
Yeah.
obviously like changes a lot year on year. Um, but yeah, man, like I do feel grateful and lucky to be somebody that, to at least a certain degree knew
Hmm.
the direction that I wanted to go in. Because I know like a lot of people will kind of maybe not have that, or they have to like work quite hard to find that.
Yeah.
So to feel like yeah, it's something that I've had a trajectory
Hmm.
from like quite a young age. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So from there, how did you, I guess, then form your band, Yakul?
So the band came out of um well, it was born out of my desire to want to play with musicians again. So
Hmm.
I had this solo electronic project quite a few years ago now.
Hmm.
Uh it wasn't it wasn't particularly good. I was not at a place musically where I could pull off the things that I was trying to do. But I remember it kind of started fizzling out a little bit, and I remember really just like missing this organic process of like writing music in a room with other people and just like playing with other musicians. And it happened to coincide with the period of time that I got really obsessed with D'Angelo, and especially with voodoo. I feel like
Hmm.
everyone has that period of time.
Hmm.
And that was my time. And I like read up so much about like how that album was made, and yeah, it really resonated with me, just like this process of just, jamming in a room basically and songs coming out of it. So the band started with us in this basement, just like fucking around. But again, like musically, we were not quite there yet. So it was kind of like kept in the basement for a
Yeah.
couple years. Um, and then yeah, man, it's kind of just like it's gone from there. There's not really been any we've tried to kind of just like do what is fun to us the whole way through it. It was never a thing that I want like I never like expected it to be a thing that I'd make loads of money from. Not that I have made loads of money from it, but it was kind of a passion thing. Like
I
we just
love
wanted to
that.
have fun with it and just do exactly what we wanted to do musically.
I love that.
Um, which is fun, man. It's nice not having put that level of like financial pressure on it. Like it needs to do this, it needs to do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like following the compass of like what excites you and what uh yeah, what you actually like find enjoyment from is such a better pursuit than like thinking of what's going to make you money. And I think if you do that for long enough, especially with the kind of way that um communities are online, like you're always going to find like that tribe of people that resonate with the way that you express yourself.
Yes, that's so important. You said so many good things. But what really stuck me was basically doing what's passionate for you, doing what you love, and not making what you love a job, but just making it what you love. I love that. I really do love that. So when was the moment when it was like a aha moment, or like a I'm doing this band, I'm doing this right, I'm doing something right, like something sticking, I'm doing it right.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm trying to think of like like specific moments. I would say that I feel like yeah, whenever I've been asked that, like a couple of times people have asked me that, and I'm like, there's not, how like there's not this kind of like cinematic moment when you're like, oh man, like everything's
Yeah.
different now. Like
Yeah, it's like
it's
it's not like
more
a switch, but it's more so like a gradual effect type thing, right?
I think there's more like there's little like minutiae details where I'm like, oh wow, like I don't know, some like I have a folder on my phone of really nice DMs that I've just like screenshotted that I look at if I'm like not feeling as like motivated or that positive about stuff. And some of those like definitely felt like those moments. I don't know, like
Yeah.
getting a message from somebody being like, I was in like a really dark place and your music kind of saved my life. I'm like, that's fucking wild, man.
It's actually it's and I wanna also share that. Thank you for bringing that up as well, because when I discovered your music, I was kind of sort of in a weird place in my life. I was in a transitional period. I was moving, but at like during the time that I found you, I was like homeless for about 3 weeks. And like I was just listening to your music, and I don't know why your music like resonated with me so much. And I was like, this dude is freaking insane. And then you're literally like 24/7. I would just play your music. And luckily, Spotify has this thing where it has like, like the best of or like all of your music in one thing. I
Mm,
was just playing that 24/7. And
love
like
that, man.
it's yeah, you really, your music brought some type of joy in the very dark place that I was in. So thank
Fuck
you
yeah,
for that.
man.
But continue. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's so great to hear, man. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, means a lot. Um, but yeah, the kind of those sort of things made me realize, kind of made me reevaluate stuff a little bit more and think about what is important to me. Like, I'm a very driven person, and I'm always like striving. I
Yeah.
hold myself to a high standard. I'm like always striving to like be more and just like kind of gain more like success, whatever that means. But like some messages like that and just it kind of like flips it on its head a little bit, and it made me realize that connecting with people like that is kind of the most important thing. And that no no like accolade or no, like no award or something like that it is like will mean as much, even if like on the surface it feels like it will. And yeah, man, I think that's a really like important and powerful realization to come to. And it's an ongoing struggle, you know. I always keep having to
Yeah.
remind myself of things like that. Um, but yeah, man, like, there's moments like that, and also there's been a few moments where we've done a headline show, and especially like the first few headline shows we did, especially when they were not in our hometown. We
Mhm.
do one, and there'll be like people there like want it, like actually they love like fucking singing the words, and like they'll have like learned one of our songs with their band at like their music college or something, and they like send us a video of it, and it's like that's just crazy. It's so easy. And like not that that stuff happens like loads, but like
Mhm.
even I know it's so easy to not, you know, fully appreciate the gravity of something like that. And again, like
Yeah.
it can fall into just this pile of stuff that's good that you kind of like don't really value as much as you should, just
Yeah.
because because you're focused on forwards and you're not thinking about all of the stuff that you have accomplished along the way, you know. And sometimes like thinking back to just like where you were when you like absolutely started the journey, and how much all of those things would mean to you if you thought that you'd ever be at that place, but then you're at the place and it just doesn't, you know, you have to take the moment
Yeah.
to really feel it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to be better at that. But I'd say those are probably the moments where I've really felt um yeah, a bit of like a existential moment of like, wow, this is like this is crazy. This actually like really means something to somebody else. To be honest,
Mhm.
just to continue on that, like there was a year, what year was it? 2020, I guess maybe 2022 was it? Yeah. Like there was a period of time where um yeah, we were kind of like we had a weird year as a band. We didn't do like a bunch of shows, and I don't know. I kind of felt like it wasn't kind of going anywhere. Our dynamic was
Mhm.
like a little bit weird for a couple of reasons.
Mhm.
And I was pretty much ready for it to like not continue for much longer. Like we'd already kind of written some stuff for the next project, and I was like, all right, we'll probably do this one, and then we'll just kind of call it. And then yeah, we do shows still, like any show that we did do. And I don't know, I wasn't really pushing social media. I wasn't really putting much time or effort into it. And
Right.
people were still there. People still come to the shows. People that it still like still seemed like there were people that really, really cared. And there was a certain point, like a year ago, I was like, man, like the universe is telling me to keep putting time into
Yeah, to
this.
keep going, to keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
What? why was it at that moment, like what made you basically want to give up everything? What was that cause for you?
I think like part of it, I think I was a little bit bitter about COVID. So I mean,
Mm.
COVID like screwed over everybody. Like
Yeah,
everybody knows
COVID
that. So
fucked
like,
up a lot of people.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, so like 2019 was a really, really good year for us. It
yeah.
felt like we were on the cusp of something. We had quite a lot of festivals booked for 2020. It was like, our management at the time were like, this is the year. Like it felt like we had a couple nominations for some stuff. It just seemed like it was going, man. And then yeah, obviously that all just died. And then it's
Mm,
felt like we've really have like been working so hard to kind of like claw our way back to that same place.
mm,
So it's partly that, and then like we released, yeah, our debut album in 2021, and I think we didn't feel like we were able to do it properly, partly because like we didn't have the finances at that time to do it the way that we wanted to do it. And
yeah.
so even though it felt like it connected with the fan base, it kind of didn't do what I wanted it to do necessarily. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It it felt like we just had quite a few we just took a few L's like in a row. It felt like morale in the band was like just pretty low.
Mm,
And there were a few shows we did in a row that somebody in the team that is no longer in the team had like sorted out that just like were not right, and they just kind of like, I don't know, they just kind of just weren't that, they weren't enjoyable, and they just kind of made us feel shitty. It was just like a bunch of stuff in the row basically.
mhm,
And yeah, man, it just wasn't like we weren't getting anything out of it. Just for like maybe like a 6 month period, 6, 9 months, it just felt like every time we did anything to do with it, it was just like not bringing us any joy, and it was kind of like stressful. Um, but yeah, man, then I sat with it for a bit, and then yeah, there was one show that we did where I talked about some of this like during the show, and I just really felt the love in the room, and it like
yeah.
proper, yeah, it just made me think about it more. It's like, yeah, man, this is the reason why I'm doing this. Like I'm doing it for the people that like it and like resonate with it, because that's so amazing to me that somebody like would care to that degree about something that I've created.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, man.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I honestly, I really do love that. So, let's talk about the live album that you recently put out. What made you want to do that, and how was that process like for you?
Yeah, that was fun, man. So yeah, the live side of
I
things.
completely enjoyed it, by the way. I just want you to know it's from start to finish, it was amazing. Amazing. But
Thank you.
continue. Yeah.
Thank you. Um, yeah, so yeah, a live album's been something that we've definitely wanted to do for a while, because yeah, our live show is one of the things that yeah, we kind of like find enjoyable, and we think this like it translates quite well into a live setting. Um, and yeah, so yeah, Pizza Express luckily wanted to do this, yeah, like just like collaborate basically on this to make it happen. Um, it was it was definitely like stressful, especially leading up to it. So
Wow.
something that I something that I have like struggled with, okay, I'd say like mainly post COVID. It's like I'm in a much better place of it now, but I've had like a period of time where I got quite a lot of anxiety about forgetting lyrics like during gigs.
Mm.
So it's weird because like I think part of it was because I have this high standard for myself. So I'm like I trip myself out on it a little bit, and then whenever I did like it's the thing is it's never really a big deal, but I'd
Mm.
make it more of a big deal in my head, and then maybe there was a specific point in one song that I knew that I'd like messed up before, and it would come around the next gig, and I just
And then you would
psych
just be
myself out, it would
yeah.
be coming, and I'd
Wow.
be like, "Ooh, what if you did that
Yeah.
again?"
Yeah.
Um,
So what sign are you, James? Like what astrological sign are you?
I'm on the cusp, but I'm Taurus. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, usually, but sometimes Aries.
I think that's what it is. That's what it is. That's why I get you so much because I'm the exact same way. I'm also an Aries. I'm gonna put you in the Aries category just because I
Let's
want to.
go, let's go.
I'm I'm also an Aries, and I'm the exact same way when it comes to performances and anything. I'm also a performer. I sing a little bit, but more so like on the stepping side or like the acting side. I'm also the exact
Amazing,
same
man.
way. So that's yeah, I get you 100%. So why do you think it really, I guess, intensified after COVID?
I think just I think because that everybody had like more social anxiety after COVID. It felt like just
Hmm.
not having had so much social interaction in like this long period of time. Um, and it's also like a regularity of gigging.
Hmm.
I generally felt like I was gigging quite a lot more before, and then since like yeah, it hasn't been so frequent. I also like I kind of did like some other like round town gigging and stuff, which I just like don't do anymore.
Right.
So I felt like I was just like performing more regularly, which just made it like just affect me less, I guess. But yeah, there was I think the reason why the Pizza Express one got to me, well, mainly because it was being recorded, but also
Mm.
because the show we'd done previously to that show, which was maybe like 3 months before, um, I it was a hometown show, and hometown shows can go one of two ways for me. Like I love them because I can just gonna be a fucking party. Like there's really really good vibes in the room,
Yeah.
but it can also go the other way because I know quite a few people in the room. And on this particular occasion, I was quite in my head. And yeah, there was just like a couple bits that I just was not happy with. Like I kind of like fluffed it. And because I know in that room, well, people will know the songs quite well, at least some of them, I was like hyper aware of it.
Hmm.
So after that gig, it was like I was ruminating on all of this, knowing that this like live show was coming up, this like live recording of a show was coming up. Um, and yeah, do you know the book Effortless Mastery by Kenny Werner?
No, I don't. What is
Bro, highly, highly recommend that book. Um, Kenny Werner is this really dope jazz pianist, but he's
hmm
got this kind of like just like approach, just this way of thinking about performance, basically, to put you in this space where you're free of judgment. You're not trying to play well. You're not trying to impress people. You're just fully present and just like
Yeah.
what is naturally coming out of you is coming out of you. Um, and I read it a few years ago, but in that period of time between this show where I wasn't happy with it and the live album, I went back over it a bunch. And when it came round to the show, I was feeling in a good place. But the problem is you can't really reenact the environment of a show unless you're doing a show, you know?
Yeah.
You can practice that stuff at home, but it's a totally different environment. Like
Right.
without having the pressure and the audience, it's not going to make any difference. So it was, I was still very aware of this fact. So the way that the day went, we recorded the whole thing as a backup in the daytime to an empty room, just in case there was like technical issues on the night. And that run through was actually incredibly stressful. Just
Mhm.
there was something about playing to nobody and knowing that it was being recorded that was just
Right.
like so like none of us really enjoyed that run through. And luckily the evening performance like went well and there were no issues. So we
Right.
didn't have to fall back on it. But like when it
So
came to the show, man,
was that part stressful because you were like so focused on it being recorded or like how yeah, that's what it was?
exactly,
Wow.
man. It was just
Mhm.
we just was so aware of the fact that it was being recorded, and we
Mhm.
couldn't perform in the same way because no one was there. So it was like all you
Right.
could
So it's
do
like
was
no one to feed off of. You don't know
yeah,
exactly how you did versus wow, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
man.
Okay.
But yeah, it came to the show, and it's like there's some shows it will take a few songs to get into the flow. Some songs I'll never get into the flow. But yeah, this show after like the first song or two, I was like, oh yeah, actually, I feel like I'm here. I'm not
Mhm.
really like overthinking this too much.
Mhm.
And yeah, I really enjoyed the show. I think yeah, everybody like had a good one. Because that's the other thing, you don't know how everyone else is feeling really. Like
Right,
there's been so many times we go to the end of the show and like half of us are like, yo, that was so dope, and the other half are like, I hated every second of that. Like you don't know
right.
what's going on in everyone's heads, like
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
but
So what was your favorite song to perform?
it's a good question. You know what? Actually, for that show, we did
Hmm.
two covers, which we don't normally
Hmm.
do. But yeah, Pizza Express, that I'd like asked if we were up for it, and we were like, yeah, I mean, like that sounds cool. So I really enjoyed doing those two. We did Dark Red by Steve Lacy and
Hmm.
Chamber of Reflection, by Matt DeMarco. But one of the reasons we chose that song, was because Matt DeMarco, um, so that's not his original song. That's a cover of this Japanese artist from the 70s.
Wow. I didn't
Um,
know that.
I can't, man, his name always escapes me. But yeah, so like, because we're like quite influenced by like Japanese imagery and like culture and stuff and music, that like it was like a little bit of a nod
Hmm.
to the original. But yeah, those were really fun to do, man. Because covers are not something that we tend to do.
Hmm. So what was the song that I guess you were a little bit more anxious about, or even if it was like a specific part?
100%. So I'm like part of me doesn't want to like everybody to know the one.
Ah, okay,
But
okay,
no, but
okay,
no, no,
okay,
it's fine.
okay.
The song that has, I feel like I'm over the hump of it now. But the song that like would trip me up for quite a long period of time was April. Um,
Really?
yeah,
That is
yeah,
my favorite song. Like hands,
love
that
that,
was the
man.
first song I've heard. That was the first song I heard of yours, and from there,
Really?
literally, I guess it's because I'm born in April, but I was like, oh wow. But
Yeah.
no, really, why? Why that one?
Wow. I think part of it is because it's kind of like there's not much to hide behind in the first verse. It's kind of like keys and vocals are like up front. So I guess that was like the initial thing. But I mean, there's a bunch of other parts of the set where that's also the case. Um, I think there was just would have been one time where I kind of like just tripped up halfway through. And
Hmm.
then the next time it came around, I was like, "Oh, you tripped up on this bit last time."
So
And
make sure
then
you
maybe
don't
I
trip.
did it
Okay.
again, and then
Yeah.
suddenly it becomes a thing. It was like there was no reason why that should have been a thing. Like
Hmm.
there's nothing different about it. It's all in my head, but it doesn't like it's only real because I make it real. But then it's a really hard thing to get out of in the moment. Like there's sometimes when I'm in this place, if I'm like feeling stressed during a show, I'm like, I feel like I just need like 10 seconds, just 10 seconds just to like to be in a room on my own, just to be like, it's fine. Like I
Hmm.
know these songs, man. I know these songs. Like this is fine. Um, but like, yeah, obviously, like you can't have that in the moment. But yeah, man. But like I say, I think since then, every show we've done, I've like felt a lot more comfortable. So I think yeah, I'm in a much more kind of like peaceful, mindful place at the
Yeah.
moment. So I think that was part of it. Like going through all of the like this struggle with, not feeling as positively towards the band. I think that probably like didn't help when it came to my relationship to do with like remembering lyrics and stuff. I hadn't even thought of that before, but yeah, that's probably a massive part of it.
Wow, that's crazy. I would have never known. I honestly wouldn't. And where did you also feel that way when you recorded it live? It's a performance just of April. You guys were like in a small-ish room. I forgot the name of the performance specifically, but you know what performance I'm talking
Yeah, man.
about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little live session. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, you know what? With those ones, because the way that we have done those, it's all like one shot, like moving camera.
Hmm.
We end up having to do it like I don't know, like five or six times because
Ah,
the guy filming kind of is learning the song as we're doing it, figuring out
got you. So
at
he's
what
also
point
like
he
playing
wants.
along with you.
Yeah. So he's like, when there's a guitar bit, he's at the guitar. Like, so it takes a few like rounds to kind of get the perfect like actual video take.
Hmm.
So usually by that point, it's kind of like, you've just done the same song over and over again. It's on the whole, those ones are all right. Um, but yeah, it's interesting just seeing how like mentally where you go in those environments, because like I record all the time, like because but like usually it's just me in the room on my own.
Yeah.
But it's so funny how different it can be in different environments, and you're like, huh, nothing's different. Like the only thing's different is that I'm thinking about it differently.
It's
But
all in your
like,
mind. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. Definitely. So if you can tell me about how, because April is my favorite song. I really want you to understand that. If you can tell me about how that song specifically came about, what was the creative process like for that song? Because there's so
so
many different layers to that song that I don't think anyone would, I guess, grasp, I guess, on the first listen. So you have to
mhm.
like listen to it over and over again to like hear, oh wait, they did this, they did that, they did. So tell me about it, because the musicality of it is just chef's kiss. But yes, please.
Thank you, man. Yeah,
No
so
problem.
a lot of the writing for that album, because we wrote it over 2020. So it was like it was proper in like the main lockdown. So basically everything we've written up until the last EP we did, the general way that we did it was that I got the chords, the melody, the lyrics. Maybe I did a rough demo, and then we got in the room, messed around with it. Sometimes it would stay pretty close to that. Sometimes it would kind of go off and kind of
Mhm.
become this other thing. So April started with just like me playing the chords, messing around with the melodies,
Mhm.
and had the verse and the chorus from there. And you know how like halfway through it kind of goes to like quite it just changes vibe totally. And the that guitar line comes in. So that yeah, Leo. I want to say that Leo just had that part. Maybe I, I I can't remember exactly whether it was specifically he had the idea for that song or he just had this part and we just put it together. But it just felt like it wanted this total switch up, you know?
Mhm.
Like we'd set up this aesthetic up until that
Yeah.
point, and it just felt like it wanted like a proper shake up. And you know, the moment we did that song live for the first time, the moment we got to that, it kind of drops down and it's just dum bum ba dum bum 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 da dum. We were like, oh yeah, man, like this is meant to be played live, man. Like everyone
It's sick.
always
It's very
really
sick.
like
Yeah.
just that switch. It's fun, man. And then like yeah, just kind of just like just double down on that kind of like Latin feel with like
Yeah.
all the drum layers, and it just vocally it took me to this whole other place. Um, and then like from there, I love we've actually tried to rein it in a little bit on like the next thing that we're releasing, but I love doing a big outro with just like a new chord progression that kind of hasn't been in the rest of the song. So yeah, we do it in April, and yeah, I love it, man. It's always a fun thing for me. I used to be a big problem that I'd always like be like the best part of the song is the end bit, and you'd be like, just wait for the end bit, man. It's coming. That's the
Mhm.
best bit. But like I like delayed gratification. But no, I mean saying that like I like all of April. Um, it was also this period of time where I got really into playing acoustic guitar. There was like over that year, I think it was because I was staying at my girlfriend's like she had this one bed and I stayed at her house like over lockdown and she had this acoustic
Mhm.
guitar and so I just played this acoustic guitar loads. So loads of Rise Indigo. I mean maybe the moment's like gone now, but like loads of it I didn't write anything on guitar, but over that period of time I actually like played it on acoustic guitar more than I played it on piano. Um,
Wow.
and I really there was just something so nice about those songs on acoustic guitar. Um, because they were like they're quite compared to stuff that we'd done before that, they felt a lot more at least like April, apart from when it switches up, it kind of felt like quite simple, but I really liked
Yeah.
it. I think one thing that I've definitely done in the past was like mask like holes in my knowledge or mask me not knowing where to take a song by doing something really like out there and weird. And I think as I've got older and as I've like like I don't know, got like a more mature sound and kind of like understood stuff better. I've tried to I've tried to like progress ideas rather than changing them completely when I don't know what to do next, you know? Like progressing an idea over the course of a song is like it's a hard thing to do. Going to
Hmm.
a completely different thing is actually quite an easy thing to do. It
Hmm.
sounds more complicated, but like I think it's like the difference between simple and easy.
Yeah.
Um, you know? I mean it's I enjoy doing that and like the time there is always a time and place for that, I think. But I don't know. A part of it is also when you feel like you've maybe done something enough times, it doesn't want. I don't want people to like expect something too much to the point where it doesn't have the same impact.
Mm,
Um,
good.
but then at the same time, I don't want to overthink that shit too much. And I'm like, what does the song want? Let's do what the song wants. That's the most important thing.
That's
Uh,
good.
but
Wow.
yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we're running out of time. I have two more questions for you because I
Mhm.
haven't even got through half of the questions that I have for you, but I'm just gonna
Yeah,
ask
sorry,
these
I talk a
final
lot.
two. No, it's fine. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the conversation. I really do. We got to do this again in person. Either I'm coming to you or you got to come to the stage. Either or,
Okay, man.
it got to happen in person. But no. So how do you deal with creative block? Has there ever been a moment where you reach, a block of creativity, and how I know you said you didn't want to you just said the tip that you said, but has there been a moment where you just reached a creative block with your writing style or even with you playing something? And how did you, I guess, get out of that? Or would it just be, the answer of what you just said?
No, 100%, man. There's definitely been points like that. I think it's an ongoing thing. Um, but I always say that writer's block doesn't exist in the same way that I was saying with my like um yeah, like block with lyrics sometimes. It's not a real thing, but you make it real in your head. The same with writer's block. I would say like I would say the biggest the times where I find it the hardest to get ideas out is when how can I put this in the best way? Like, I think creativity is always ready to come out of you, but it depends whether you're willing to let the ideas that want to come out actually come out.
Wow,
So,
wow. Get out of my head. I think about that all the time. It's the Aries in us. It's the Aries in us. Yes, that's exactly, yes, you're 100% right. Go ahead, continue.
of that. Yeah, so like the thing that I find that happens a lot is like I don't know, you got up in the morning and you're like, I don't know, I'm gonna write a fucking ballad today. That's what I'm gonna do. And you sit down and a ballad's not trying to fucking come out of you right now. Like like 120 upbeat bangers coming out of you. And you don't allow it to come out because your brain is telling you, I said I was gonna write this kind of song. You're not allowing the song the creativity that is naturally coming out to come out. So like if you think of creativity as this thing that you're tapping into, you need to allow it to come through you rather than getting in the way and trying to dictate what comes out of you. Like
Yes.
you don't have full control over that, you know. You're interpreting something that's coming to you, and I think the more you can get out of the way of it, and let it just come freely, and not judge it based off of what you think it should sound like, that is the best way to get ideas out. So the clearer you have a picture of what you sound like and what kind of music you release, in a lot of ways, the more boxed in you are. Because if someone's coming out and you're like, doesn't I don't know, man. I don't know if this is me. It's like, but what you made 2 years ago wasn't you until you made it. Like you've
Yes.
created this for yourself. Like you can't make progress if you don't allow ideas to come out the way that they're going to come out, you know. But it's a
Yes.
hard thing to consistently do, and I think it's an
Yes.
ongoing struggle that I think everybody has to just check themselves on, like whenever you get into that place. I mean, part of it is part of it is like this need to have consistency with like releasing music. And
Mm,
so, you're like, oh man, I've got to get X number of songs out this year. And so every time you write a song, you're like, this song has got to be, I've got to, like, I don't have enough time to just be like writing songs that I don't release. So you get a minute into the song and you're like, nah, it's not the song. And then you just bail on it because you don't feel like you have the time to finish it, but I think it should be flipped around. Like you don't have the time not to finish it because like is it like, by finishing the songs, that's how you get better at writing. That's how you get better at trusting yourself. That's how you
Yes.
get better at creating and cultivating a judgment-free zone where you can express yourself. Because what are you doing it for? Are you doing it to make loads of money, or are you doing it because that's the way that you express how you feel in a way that maybe you can't say verbally? Like maybe not like originally, what was the first thing that made you want to do it? That's something that I think everybody has to get back to because the more you lose sight of that and the more you go down this road of pursuing the wrong, like pursuing things for the wrong reasons, it will create this block. I think that's where the block comes from.
100%. 100%. The moment you forget your why did I want to do this from the beginning? The why. The moment you forget the why,
Yeah, bro.
it's just downhill from there. Literally.
100%.
Well said. I could talk to you for days. This is amazing. I have one more question for you though.
Mhm.
If you were stuck on an island with only three albums to choose and take with,
Hmm.
what albums are you picking?
Whew. I love it, man. I'm trying to like not think about it too much and just do what is naturally coming to me, but
Just let it come to you.
I know that like in like 10 minutes I'm gonna be like, fuck man, what like
I should have
I
chose
missed like
that
all
one.
of these albums.
It's so many times where like I've interviewed people and I ask them that same question because I ask that to all of my artists and they text me later, dang, I should have picked that song. Can we do it again? And just that one piece so I can pick that album. But no.
Uh, I'm trying to think of like one like what is like what's made the most what's the most like impactful things? Oh, it's so
That's a
hard,
good
man.
way to think about it. What impacted you the most?
Yeah, man. Um, so all right, maybe I can like just get one out and that'll kind of lead me to the next one. Um, I'm like the moment I say something, I'm like boxing myself into it. I've already overthought like this for too long. Um,
Mhm.
all right, the first thing that's coming to mind is Matt Miller swimming.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a very good album, actually.
Yeah, this I think it just how just that being the last album that he released while he was alive, I think just makes it mean so much more.
Even more impactful, yeah.
Yeah, and you can just feel the place that he's in when he made it, and like, I don't, I love, you know how like context can mean so much when it comes to music,
Yeah.
and knowing the context of that, and just like, I think I just really love him as a person, like, and just the kind of, he's just like such a kind, loving soul. And I think that just makes it even more impactful and also just like way more poignant and sad.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that album feels like incredibly special to me. Like especially the like the opener of that album is just like one of the like best fucking songs, man. I just love it. And it's just his lyrics, he's just so honest and like there's not I feel like especially in like the world of rappers, so there's a lot of people like there's a lot of front, but he's just so real in everything he says. Yeah, that's a really, really special one.
Mhm.
Um, and the next one is all right. No, I'm gonna say Voodoo because it was a really, really important album to me.
That's a
Um,
good choice.
I like I haven't listened to that album in ages because I've listened to it so many fucking times. I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
I don't need to listen to it for a while, man.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was a very important album. I feel like that's such a generic one because so many people will have the same thing, but like
Mhm.
there's a reason why that is the case.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that was he really kind of opened my eyes to just like this like his specific style of vocals, like just his like singing behind the beat thing, and just like his tone and like his lyrics and like, his falsetto, just like
Yeah.
and him as a performer and him as a recluse, like
Yeah.
so many elements. That yeah, so like I got obsessed with him literally like 3 months before he released Black Messiah, and I didn't know
Hmm.
it was coming. And I felt like I was so lucky to be one of the people that got into him. Just like were fucking obsessed with him for 14 years and I had to wait for this album.
Yeah. So
And I got
imagine,
into him and then
yeah.
he literally just dropped this album. So what the fuck, man? I was like so lucky. Um, um, all right, I'm like torn between doing like a new one and the old one. Nah,
Hmm.
I'm just gonna do the thing that I'm gonna do because it was probably an album that was most impactful out of the last like decade. Hiatus Coyote, Choose Your Weapon. Um, that album was
Yeah.
that album was incredibly important for this
Yeah.
genre. And I think there was a period of time where I really hated saying any like being influenced by a hiatus because any band that was doing that kind of thing were influenced by a hiatus. But man, let me tell you, there's a fucking reason why everybody was because they are in an echelon all on their own. Like
Yeah.
nobody, like nobody didn't like them. Like and nobody does it like them. That's
Hmm.
it's so like their style of writing, the like just Nay as a person, it's the way that she writes, the way she plays guitar, just her personality, like her lyrics, her melodies, and like all of the visual side, like it's so unique and it like it's no wonder that like they got Grammy nominated for the first record they released, which is like
Hmm.
incredible to me that like somebody could get
Freaking
that.
amazing, yeah.
It's so wild. But I'd occasionally, I mean, I say occasionally, yeah, I probably have done it for years up until like pretty recently. But I do this thing where if I'm stuck on a song, I just don't know where to take it. I'll be like, I'll put myself in an artist's shoes. I'm like, if I was X person, like, what would I do in this scenario?
Mm.
Just to try and like shake it up a little bit. I'm like, I don't know where
Hmm.
to go. Like, if I was this person, what kind of decisions would I make? And like, yeah, your hiatus is always such a good one for that because they always take it to such an interesting place, but it always
Yeah.
seems like it makes sense. It's incredible to me how they can go to all these different places but still feel like they're in the same place. And it never feels like, oh, what? Like what they went there? Like that doesn't feel it's
That's
just it always
good.
feels like it makes sense to what came previously. So yeah, that every time they release something, it's like very, very influential on the way that I approach stuff for a period of time
Yeah.
after it.
That's
So
good.
yeah, man. I guess I guess what I guess that the reason why it's hard to have an answer to that question is because it feels like you need to have an ultimate answer, but what that I don't think that even
Mm.
exists.
Yeah,
I think it
no.
just has to be what is
No.
with you at the time. And
Yeah, literally, literally. Yeah, yeah. Because when I answer the question, my answer changes every single time. Luckily, I have the opportunity to, change it a lot on camera.
yeah, go, go on, man.
But no,
What are your
like
three right now?
right now, right now, not because you're in front of me and I'm filming you right now. I think I'm going to go with Rise Indigo, by
Bless you, man.
Yakul. Mainly because that was the first project that I heard from you guys, and I literally like fell in love with you, and I just from there I did a deep dive and just learned all your music and did all of that stuff.
Love it,
And
man.
then like I said as well, it the time in my life that I listened to your music, it was really it brought some type of joy.
So glad to hear,
The
man.
second album, I would have to go Blonde, Frank Ocean. Yeah,
Man, so
it's
so
a
good.
great album. Um, and then I'm gonna say Beyonce's self-titled album.
Mm. I
Hmm.
haven't listened to that one enough, you know.
Really?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna
Uh-oh.
We're having a little Wi-Fi thing. Yeah, man, I'm actually gonna go on it right now
Mm.
and like resave it
Yeah.
to
Yeah, because it's actually a really, really good album. And the story that she tells with it is also amazing. And then the visuals with it is even better. So yeah, yeah, that those three will be my top three at this current moment. It
love it,
may change
man.
tomorrow, it may never change. But
Mm,
yeah, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I don't think you understand how much more impactful, I guess, your music is now that I know your story. And it's a lot that now that if you ever decide to perform April again live, now I'm like, okay, he did it. He got through it. He made
did
it
it.
through. So yeah, thank you so much for this. Thank you so much. It's truly an honor. It's truly a pleasure to be sitting here talking to someone that I truly adore, honestly, truly. So,
Bro,
yeah,
thank
I'm
you so
excited
much.
for you. Like I said, we have to do this again in person. Either I'm coming
100%.
to you or I'm flying you out and you coming here to me. Either
Let's
way,
go,
this
bro.
this this has to be done. This has to be done. But yes, thank you so much. Is there anything that you have coming up? Is there anything new coming up for you? I know you recently released your live album, but is there anything that you're working on? Anything that we should be prepared for? Go ahead and plug yourself in.
Yeah, man, we're releasing our next record this year, which
Ah,
is like bro, I've never been so excited about music. I've never been so proud about something that I've made. Like it's almost I listened to it start to finish like about a week ago, like when we had the finished masters, and like it was almost enough if no one else heard it, just hearing it front to
yeah.
back. Like yeah, I don't know. I've never felt like this way about a body of work that I've done. So I'm so excited for people to hear it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, man.
excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. All right. Well, listen, again, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you like, you comment, and you subscribe. Please make sure you turn on the post notification bell to get notified for more beautiful videos just like this one. And as always, baby, I will see you in the next.
I feel so good. I feel so good. I feel so good.